I'm Luke Manson, and this is the Kiwistyle podcast. Here I talk to my friends in the New Zealand hardcore and metal scene about what they've been up to and what they're going to get up to. I'm the singer of the band Exile, and I've been playing in New Zealand hardcore bands non-stop for like the last 18 years. So no doubt I probably made a couple enemies along the way, but I made a whole lot of friends too. And here is where I'm going to share those stories on the Kiwistyle podcast. On the pod today, I've got Aaron and Jimi from Lucre. Lucre are a heavy hardcore band from Wellington, and we're going to talk about the release of their new EP, Hyperreal, what's happening down there in Wellington, and bit of this, bit of that. Onto the pod. All right, boys, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
We got Aaron and Jimi from Lucre.
Yo.
How you doing?
Yeah, we're all right. Yeah.
What was for breakfast?
Grey Street Kitchen.
Oh, yeah, I love Grey Street Kitchen on the corner there. Every time I go there, a rotor cruises past. No shit.
Oosh, got the views as well.
Straight up. Bro, Hamilton's good for rotors. That little area is good for rotors.
Sweet.
Okay, we're here to talk about hardcore. So you guys are here on the Deadly Alliance tour. You guys have already smashed out. What shows? How far are we into the tour?
So far we've played 2 dates. We played home turf last week on Saturday at Thistle Hall. That was with Shove It, obviously Brainwave, Piss Baby, and is there one other band? Oh, that's right. It's my band, Molossa. Yeah. And that was Molossa's first show, and yeah, fucking killed it. And it was a great response. Played to a packed out venue, and it was great to see so many younger dudes there. It's people we haven't seen before who are getting hype on the tour. And yeah, when we played Hamtown yesterday, and that was killer as well. Always love seeing the Hamilton crowds. We'll touch on the tour a little bit later when we get all the boys on the couch. Nah, sweet.
So, Lucre, Hyperreal, congratulations on the EP drop.
Thanks, man.
Psyched?
Very psyched. The response has been overwhelmingly positive, and just so stoked to see how much people are like, just all the messages we're getting from people saying like, this, what they like about it and all that. And it's pretty intense. It's pretty great though.
Right. Yeah. Break me down System Accident.
Oh. Yeah.
One of my favorite tracks.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a lot of Geordie and Aaron's riffs.
Geordie made the first riff, the big long intro, the slow chord progression, and then when it sort of kicks off with the vocals and that was something. That was
your riff, yeah.
Yeah, that was actually originally from the one of the first demos I sort of made as like a proof of concept for Lucre initially, because we initially it was me and Jimi. We sort of got together and I said like, I'd really like to make a band with you. And initially it was going to be like a nu metal band, so nu metal kind of
like who,
like kind of like old Linkin Park, like Hybrid Theory sort of shit. Like maybe with some
nobody does it.
Yeah, well, like we thought, that could be cool. But also like taking the nu metal via like a hardcore approach that like Volcano does, if you know them.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like Full to the Game. That's a mean as EP that we're all vibing on.
Yeah.
But when we started practicing with Lucre, it ended up just like we just practiced naturally. What came out was what you hear, and that riff, the main riff, the bouncy one, is like one from that original, like one of the first proof of concept demos that I made. And and it's the longest song.
Right. And how long's Lucre been around? So relatively new band. My first time meeting both of you guys as well, like with the band, obviously.
Yeah, we became like an idea like January last year, and we started practicing like end of February, beginning of March last year. Yeah.
So we've been a band for about like a year, if you want to look at it from like a show standpoint. Like when our very first show was, I'm pretty sure
it was May last year.
Yeah,
it was our first gig.
So this is like come around about the anniversary, like the 1 year anniversary for Lucre.
Yeah,
around there. Yeah.
Oh, right. And then who? So obviously started with you, Aaron, and then what? You picked up because you're the Happy Valley drummer, eh?
Yeah.
So I don't think I've ever seen Happy Valley.
Most people. It's real sad. Like
you play a lot of house shows in Wellington. And obviously, I live in Auckland.
Yeah, the house, Happy Valley really thrived on house shows. That was that was our turf. It always would go off, but we didn't quite. I don't feel like we quite managed to change people's perception of us after the first EP. Like a lot of people kind of wrote us off as being like an indie band or something like that. But then our sound's changed quite a bit over, say, the last 4 years since I joined. And we announced quite recently that we're calling it a day, and we're going to be releasing a full length album. But it's been it's been a good ride. But I'm ready to end on a high note and focus on Lucre and Melosa full time. So,
Right. So the other members, we've got Geordie, one of the Wellington OGs, Grinder of Fools, Jester's Palace, One Out, Nail Gun,
the Chaos Wizard himself.
The Mr. Shadow Wizard.
Yeah.
CJ as well. So first time me meeting CJ. And then who's drumming?
Jack Fish.
Yeah, Mr. Jack Fish, absolute legend on the drums.
Incredible man, amazing drummer. He's incredibly humble as well.
I'm glad I scouted him.
Yeah, definitely.
Drummer's hard to find it.
Especially a drummer of his caliber. I mean, I drum, but he is I'm just always in awe of his technical proficiency and how professional he is. And Lucre would not be the band it is today without him being such a strong foundation for songwriting and just being so reliable in that. So always singing the praises of Master Jack Fish. Oh, sorry. Jack Fish.
Yeah,
amazing dude.
Oh, rad. Well, got the Lucre Hay started, and then so you've only been around. Lucre's only been around for a year, right? But you guys have been you've been playing actively in bands. What about you, Jimmy?
I started playing in bands when I was 18, but I was playing in cross punk bands.
Oh yeah,
and all that shit that I want to forget about.
But, I've actively avoided that scene.
Yeah, I wish I did.
You found deodorant, hey? You're sorry, bro. Sorry, boys.
I started playing in hardcore bands in 2022 with a band that failed and then turned into Lucre. So, yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
Oh, yeah. So, kind of finding the hardcore scene through COVID, was that a bit buzzy?
I don't reckon there really was a hardcore scene happening during that time. There was just bands which were dropping things, but because you couldn't really go out to shows or have that aspect of it, which is so integral to hardcore culture and keeping things alive, it was sort of
Right. A great example is that band you played with last night, Cease and Desist.
Yeah.
Those guys come out of nowhere. When I met them, they're I was how did you guys get into this? We just watched YouTube. It just buzzed me out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
just buzzed
I love those dudes.
They're fucking incredible.
Yeah. Cease and Desist have been there for me. They are the one young gun kind of band that's actually they're properly about their hardcore mentality and all the songs and everything. It just sounds like Joram, who's out of shot here, was saying in the car. They're kind of towing that line, which is between hardcore being hardcore, a Venn diagram of hardcore, and then even maybe metal adjacent, almost Crowbar, how they're sort of sludge. They metal and groove and sludge and that, but they're they've got mosh riffs, but you could also just I could see metalheads just sort of nodding along or just grooving to it, and it's I'm a big fan of them, and the fact that they're so young and their songwriting is so competent and they've got the energy and they know exactly what they want to do. It's real.
It's cool to see. Hey,
it's inspiring. It's great.
To be the young generation. So recording this EP, Hyperreal, where did you guys do it?
3 different places.
Really?
Why? It kept on failing, so we started recording it out the back of my shop because we have a studio.
Out the back of the barber's.
Yeah, out the back of the barber shop, we have a studio, so we tried it there, and the computer that we were using was a bit old and a bit shit. So it just kept on crashing.
It was a lot shit.
It was really shit. It just didn't do what we wanted it to do, and we got frustrated at technology, so we stopped using it. And then I tried recording it on my own laptop at home.
Yeah.
And it went really well until I was rendering it, and it started like artifacting
Oh yeah.
and all that stuff, and everything like sunk itself out of time.
Yeah.
So we couldn't use that, and then we ended up going to our friend Isaac Lundy, who plays in like Imperial Slave, Bullet Belt,
Oh yeah.
all those bands. We recorded with him, the guitars, the bass, and the vocals.
Yeah. Nice.
And
Shout out to that man, fucking one of the freshest moshes in the 04.
Oh, yeah,
During Cruelty, he did a misty flip off the stage during our last song, and it was caught on camera. That was some of the tightest shit I've seen.
Onto the wet concrete of Valhalla.
No.
Where was this?
It was at Newtown Community Centre.
Oh yeah,
It's
with
like-
the big video wall. I saw.
Yeah, and that was, oh damn, that was so hard.
He landed on his feet, did he?
Yes.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just
Stuck the landing like a beast.
He's a
That
cat.
It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my time, like going to shows in New Zealand. Like,
Yeah.
incredible.
So how was the recording process for you on the instruments?
It was stressful at first, just trying to like sort everything out with like the drum tracks, lining everything up, making sure everything's like on time with each other and sounding tight. But then when we went to Isaac, it was all really easy and really stress free, because obviously we gave him the raw drum tracks, and he lined it up himself, did all that stuff, got it sounding good. And it took us like, I don't know, 4 hours, 5 hours total to record everything with him.
True.
And it was just really breezy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you went to him with like all of the tracks. So he didn't do any like producing or nothing. He was just the engineer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Did you know that there's a multicam desk audio YouTube channel with all your favorite New Zealand hardcore bands? Judgment Day Productions. Judgment Day Production is a YouTube channel run by Matt Livingstone of Antagonist AD and myself. Pretty much we go to shows, we hold cameras, and we chuck them up online. And I tell you what, right now there's a Lucre live set from Summer of Hardcore. I'll leave a link in the comments below. Back to the pod. And how about the vocals, Aaron? Let's start at the influences for you. So going from drums to vocals.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, drums are my main instrument. Drums are.
Can be whatever you want, dude.
I'm sticking with R. Let's go. Drums are my main instrument. I've been playing drums since I was about 11 years old. It's not my first stint in doing vocals in a band. I lived in Glasgow in the UK for about 2 years, and I used to front a thrash metal band called Tempered, which are still going over there. It was not like hardcore adjacent, like crossover. Like, we didn't play hardcore shows. It was just like straight up like to metalheads and stuff, in a thrash scene that was based there, the CST, Central Scotland Thrash. And I ended up, I did that for like a release, but then I had to come back to New Zealand after my visa expired, and after playing in Happy Valley for a wee bit, I just started getting an itch that I wanted to scratch, like getting back into it. And I love metal, and that's been a big part of my life for a long time, but hardcore is something I'm very passionate about, and I wanted to get involved and just, get back on the horse with it. So that's kind of that's one of the main motivators for why I wanted to get Lucre together and do something. So,
because you're always giving me like deathcore recommendations.
Oh, deathcore fucking rocks, man.
Yeah, that was...
Anyone who says otherwise is a poser and a false.
Yeah.
There are so many good like deathcore bands. I personally, I have a distaste for modern deathcore and a lot of like the how homogenous it has become, with like you being super overproduced, super over sampled, like drumming and stuff like that. And then everyone either wants to be like Lorna Shore, like lots of like symphonic elements or that, or they want to be like what's like last 10 seconds of life, that sort of sounding. It's almost kind of like, it's kind of like Bogan Beatdown.
You know what's buzzy about that band is they have like if you go to the Instagram page, they tour like constantly and do big tours, and you follow them on Instagram, they play like big shows.
Yeah.
But it looks like they live in this like own ecosystem. I kind of haven't figured out. I don't see them like as supports on other people's tours or nothing, but I always see them headlining.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
It's like
my friend from Nick from No Zodiac.
Yeah.
He was on tour with his band, like Body Bag, I think.
Oh, Body Bag is sick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, fuck yeah.
that was like the original vocalist who used to be on Population Control. Is that right?
I'm not sure, but I know that guy he only did that album.
That must be him.
Yeah.
He's an amazing vocalist. I love his. It's the vocalist, right?
I didn't meet, so on the No Zodiac tour that Exile did in Australia, it was a guy after him, Rolo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, that release is mean and Body Bag is mean. So
Yeah.
Um,
Okay,
yeah.
so hopping on the mic, where did you feel the need to just like jump on vocals and just do whatever you can to get it done?
For Lucre specifically?
Yeah, for Lucas specifically. Yeah.
No. I went in with the idea, and I was focused on
As the vocalist.
Like, I want to be a vocalist. I've been very much like into I love the performance aspect of it, and I love the writing aspect as well. Like, writing the lyrics is one of my the things I enjoy the most about like this whole process of like being the vocalist, like in that role. And yeah, that's what I made Lucre for. Is like I specifically want to be doing that role, and I want to be being able to express like myself creatively again in that way, like with my written word and just, you know, performance, and not being behind a drum kit or guitar or something like that, because it is very different. I mean, as you would know yourself, it's a very different buzz.
You've always got to be on, eh? You can't, like, you know, if you're on guitar, you can turn around and tune in between songs.
Yeah,
if the show's a bit
you know.
flat, but
You can just and the drums, it's like the focus is just right there. You're just making sure everything is sort of like going smoothly. With when you're a vocalist, it's like, me personally, it's like I got to make sure that I'm getting enough cardio and like, you know, prior to shows, so I can actually deliver the performance that I'm satisfied with, and also just being, you got to be constantly being, I think anyone can be a vocalist, but it really shows the vocalists who put a lot of thought into what they're doing and the effort that they you know, whether they're putting in 110% or whatever, because I feel like people can tell if someone's phoning it in. It's like, you know, it's
So are you a pre-writer of lyrics, or are you post-writer?
Pre-writer.
Pre-writer.
I always write the lyrics first. I do it in my own. I just do it, like, even if we don't have songs or, you know, whatever, I have them in the bank, and then I'll see. I'll try and kind of trim and change things as I try and put them to the song. So it's always like instrumentals first and foremost.
Yeah.
And if it's very seldom that there comes a part where I'm like, okay, I want to do this for vocals. Can we change that to fit what the idea that I have? It's more like, okay, I can work around that, you know.
Yeah.
And I'd rather have the whole instrumental consolidated and solid as, and just being, just I can sprinkle it on top and cherry on top, you know.
Oh yeah. And tell us where the big talking point has been, the and the, what's the other one? What's
what?
the dragging out the and the
the sibilants.
The sibilants. Tell me about it. Tell me about the signature.
Tell you about it.
The signature style.
I didn't realize that was the signature.
Yeah. When I asked the Summer of Hardcore chat, everyone was like, "Where's the T's and the S's?" Ask them about the T's and the S's.
T's and S's. I mean, when I deliver vocals, I guess the mindset that I have is like, I'm a big fan of vocalists who are dynamic and like, you know, throughout songs they change. Like, that's why I try to have, like, you know, I've got my normal sort of mid to high register, and then I've got the lower stuff, like, you know, switching between.
Yeah.
And then I also like to put a lot of thought into like how, like, certain parts of the song and how I want it to be delivered, and what sort of vibe, like, it's like certain words, you know, like what the sentence is saying, like what it means, but also like how I can get a certain vibe across, like with the sibilants, and say, I know it's hyperreal, like this is, you know, like wickedness in the world, it's mine and it's yours, like the wickedness. It's like it's like, you know, it's like this, it's evoking like the images of like the serpent, and like, you know, if you want to have a biblical like an allegory or whatever, it's like it evokes like, you know, like don't know if it's mental imagery is like the right idea, but it's just like the connotations with like those sorts of sounds along with the written word is, it gives people like, yeah.
Keep that microphone up.
Sorry.
No, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool that you're stepping outside the box and that your focus sounds like that you're like pushing to do something like original. Because I come across like some people along the way that they're just focused on like ticking the boxes and are really worried about what other people think as well, and they just end up with not original music, like really good average music. You know what I mean? Like heaps passable.
It's a lot of and that's a lot of hardcore. And that's not to say like I love hardcore and I love like just full on meat and potatoes, like consistent delivery with vocals and stuff can really give like it can evoke like a real empowering or intense like emotional response. Like going back to the influences, like my biggest influences are all like metal like vocalists. Yeah, like Trevor Sternad from the Black Dahlia Murder was one of my biggest influences, like as a writer as well as like someone. He
was the meanest storyteller on Nocturnal. I could recite every word on Nocturnal.
Oh, so Nocturnal! Good. So like, what a horrible night to have a curse being about like Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, and just like that whole thing, like all the imagery, like the like from like that it evokes like from his writing and stuff. His vocabulary, it's like so good, but then But it's like, you don't really get that with like as many hardcore vocalists. It's very sort of like, it's single delivery monotone kind of, whereas like metal can be a lot more theatrical, I guess. Which is something that appeals to me. So.
Yeah, metal has the pass card for kind of stepping outside the box and being like inserting yourself as like a character. Hardcore is.
It's the grim realities and shit, which I love as well, and I like to sort of try and fuse those two influences. And
all right, Big Trev. Who else? R.I.P. Who else?
Ooh, I was talking to Joram in the car today. I think like Maniac from Mayhem.
Oh yeah,
he was the vocalist after Attila on De Mysteris Dom Satanas. He was on the album that came after that one, which was Grand Declaration of War, and I feel like he's probably the person that I sound most similar to, but I really like his delivery because he has that really kind of like right from the back of the throat and just like spitting pure like venom, and it just sounds like real disgusting and he also he has like spoken word passages which make him sound like Liquid Snake from Metal Gear Solid, and I think that's real cool. But
cool.
Maybe Justice Trip as well. I really like his delivery as far as hardcore vocals go. Despised Icon.
Oh yeah.
Huge fan of like Alex Arian, and how he.
I was big into their merch back in the day.
Yo,
Gold
that's
foil.
real. That's real as fuck. Yep.
Fuck the band. No, I was actually listening to that band and buying their merch, but there was other bands that was like, oh no, I would listen to Annotations of an Autopsy. I listen to like,
dude, I can't stand their lyrics.
Centurion.
Dude. Oh.
Old Architects, was it? Remember when Architects was actually a deathcore band?
Dude, Architects, Ruin. I think Ruin is one of the most underrated and one of the best mathcore albums like ever. I think good. Front to back, it's so damn good. Like songs like Buried at Sea, like holy shit. So good.
How about you, Jimmy? What are your big metalcore, hardcore influences? No crust.
Well, there's not going to be any crust anyway. I don't really know because I'm really bad at guitar.
Okay.
So I just
relatable. So
I just
if you did know, what would you say?
I don't know. I listen to a lot of like slam and beatdown.
Yeah, give me some.
Like Snuffed on Sight, Peeling Flesh, stuff like that.
They're opening for my boys in Viada's Murder on in America right now. When I saw that announcement, I was just like, oh, this is dope.
Like that sort of stuff and like Body Box.
Yeah,
that's like my favorite style of stuff, like real dumb, ignorant stuff. So that's a lot of the riffs that I will write is really dumb, ignorant stuff, and some of it's too dumb for Lucre and too dumb for Melissa. So I have to branch off and do my own thing. But but yeah, my dumb riffs get accented with other people's smart riffs in Lucre.
Bro, that is the key. Sometimes I listen to something just like completely ridiculous, like Snuffed on Sight or Pint Glass, or just like
Pint Glass.
right. Because you get, you know when you're playing guitar and you just like get carried away riffing and it just gets faster and faster and faster and you're like, fuck, I've got to end this and I got to slow it down, but you're just like not in tune and you're just like, fuck, I'm going to put on something completely ignorant, like beatdown, like Euro beatdown. I'm trying to think of No Face No Case. Who's the German beatdown band? And when I was just recently in Europe, I was like, yo, do you know these guys? And they're just like, no, do not tour with them. They're like, apparently beatdown bands are just right in their head. Makes sense.
Full ball?
Nah, not like not Euro. When I say beat, you know how there's like Euro beatdowns like Nasty, Full Brawl and stuff. I'm talking about the ignorant, the actual beatdown bands, not the ones that don't have riffs in them.
God, I keep forgetting about this. Fuck, are we talking about like brutal death adjacent, or is it like hardcore? Wait, is it Cunt Hunt 777?
No, but
nah. Okay.
I've seen similar to that.
That's a good guess.
I'll look at my release radar. So like, I got heaps beat down. Peeling Flesh. That's good. I good those kinds of
Cunt Hunt is like German beatdown royalty. Look up. Whoever's watching this, go look up Cunt Hunt 777 Ventil. That's VENTIL, and see one of the greatest beatdown videos ever created. Amazing. Masters of their craft.
All right, so back to the Lucre and the Wellington scene. So you guys are on tour at the moment. We'll touch on that when we get all the boys on the couch. So EP Hyperreal's out. You're promoting it on this. What aspirations do you guys have, like as a band? Are you hoping to do more stuff in New Zealand? This tour doesn't go to the South Island, right? Australia, maybe.
For me, it's Southeast Asia.
Oh, yes.
That's like the dream, the goal.
Yeah. They won't pay you a single cent.
That's fine.
They'll just pay for your ACOM and they'll pay for the bus that goes to like the next place.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's completely fine.
Yeah, bro. All through there. One tour we did across China, like 8 shows, and then jumped on a bus and then went down through like Vietnam, Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, then all the way down through Malaysia, all Indonesia and shit. It was hectic.
Yeah.
We crossed the border. We even played Cambodia. We crossed the border from somewhere to Cambodia, like on a scooter, and they took all of our passports, and we just had like nothing, and we were like in Cambodia in the customs with like no passports. Well, that's what you could look forward to.
As long as I get them back, it's fine, man.
We played Cambodia. Like drummer was sitting on like a plastic stool like this one, and we were playing through like practice amps. It was dope. Rest of the Southeast Asia tour was like legit, and all through China. Actually, since all the venues are like government owned, People's Republic or whatever, all the venues were like legit, and there was actually heaps of people there in China as well. It was buzzy.
What's hardcore? I've got a question for you, Luke Manson of Exile fame. How what's hardcore scene like in China?
It's crazy. It's good. So I done two China tours. First one I did was when I filled in for an Australian band called Confession.
Oh yeah.
I played bass, and I had to spend like 2 weeks with that cunt Michael Crafter. Bro, at the end of the tour
himself.
At the end of the tour, I didn't even say goodbye to him, bro. I was just like,
as your weapon,
just left. He's all good, but he's difficult. Damn. But we went all through China on that tour, and then that's how I made all those contacts to go to the same promoter and go back there with Exile.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about China is, like I said, all the venues are like government owned, and there's like, I mean, I know you guys were joking about classes, classes of people, but there's actual classes of people in China. So like there's actual like rich people, and there's actual sections of like the city where like it's only for like purposes, like entertainment purposes.
Oh yeah.
And I always tell people, if 0.001% of people turn up to your show in China, how many fucking people are there? A couple hundred. So we'd have like a couple hundred people at each of these shows.
Damn.
And all of like the young people can speak English. And you've got to have like a VPN on your phone if you want to do stuff, if you want to like look at Instagram and stuff and post stuff. And if you you can talk to the young people, they're chill to talk about anything, but if you start to talk anything about like VPNs or like living in China, then they'll like look over their shoulder and make sure no one old is listening to them.
True.
And 'cause, you know, there's like social credit and people can knock on people and stuff. So that shit's like really real. And it was like super clean there. Like all of their cars were like 10 years old and were not allowed to be on the road. All the scooters were like electric. Like we went to China to Vietnam, and there was just scooters everywhere, and they're just all petrol. And just like, And no homeless people on the street in China too. I don't know what they do with them. Maybe they go to the organ harvesting plants. I have no idea. But interesting spot in China, in Beijing and in Shanghai. Everyone spoke English, and you could kind of do what you wanted. But as soon as you left, people looked at you like you were like from like space, and they don't even understand hello. So like people don't even know that hello is like a, you know, you've got a basic idea of like greetings around the world, like fucking bonjour or all that shit. You could put, you know, you can say all that stuff, but they've got no idea even if you say like hello. And we were in a hotel one time. I turned on the TV and I had no shit. You know how those Russians do those big like army marches with like the tanks in the streets?
Oh, yeah.
I turned on the TV in the hotel in China and it was like this tank going like across, and it was like the leader of China and the leader of Russia like shaking hands and stuff.
Oh,
it's pretty
shit.
buzzy. But I go there.
Yeah, that sounds hard. I'll be keen for that experience.
The tour manager looked after us so well. So like during lockdown, he got locked in his apartment. He got locked in his apartment building and like had no income or nothing. So like me and Lee we sent him like a couple $100 to like buy food and shit. They wouldn't let him out of his like apartment.
Fucking hell.
So those cunts were there for like months. So we were like calling him and stuff, making sure he was all good.
Damn.
But
Jesus.
yeah. So he wants to bring us back, but he says not at the moment. Apparently, like people are like watching for spies and.
No, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Can understand.
Pretty buzzy. It sounds like a Joe Rogan podcast right now. If you've been there, you know.
Like, how many people talk about like hardcore in China? Like as far as I'm aware, I haven't really heard or read any.
As far as the band goes, funny enough, like all the support bands, there was minimal support bands, and they were all like really fucking crazy metalcore bands. Like everyone was like classically trained, and the only hardcore bands that we played with was at this festival in Wuhan. Shout out Wuhan. And they just did covers. They did like Madball covers.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. I've been to Wuhan straight up. I ate in a market in Wuhan. Some of the boys ate chicken feet in Wuhan.
Oh shit.
I had chicken feet last week.
Did you?
Yeah. I eat shit like that pretty often.
All right. So, touching out, give me some shout outs of young and up and coming Wellington hardcore bands.
Piss Baby.
Yep, Piss Baby.
Piss Baby. We got the Brainwave drip here. You know what it is. Fucking Lucre, pretty mean.
No, they're shit. What are other bands in Wellington?
Melissa. We've only played 2 shows. We're
Oh yeah. We're allowed to shout out Lucre too.
Yeah.
Solid. All right, Lucre, Hyperreal EP out now on tour on the Deadly Alliance tour.
Oh, actually, I do have one other band, Mud Goose.
Yeah, Mud Goose. Actually, yeah, fucking oath.
Best cunts.
We'll be on the lookout for Mud Goose. All right, I'm gonna speak to the Brainwave boys. Thanks very much for jumping on. I'll see you tonight at the show.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that is the end of episode 3 of the Kiwistyle podcast. I really enjoyed talking to Aaron and Jimi. It was a good conversation. Their band is great. Check out their new EP, Hyperreal. I'm going to leave a link to it down below. Check out their live set from Judgment Day Productions at the Summer of Hardcore Fest that we talked about with Vasily. That'll be in the links down below. There is also another Lucre live set on Start Today. So Start Today is a live performance set. So not a live set, but a live performance set. And if you watch it, you'll get what I mean. So I'm going to leave a link in the comments down there. So shout out to Start Today. Next up, I've got Brainwave. I've got all the boys sitting on the couch, and I've got Dustin and Todd from Terminal Sleep. So 2 Kiwis who used to live in Hamilton, now making their way in Melbourne, and look out for that one. So if you want to support me and you want to support the podcast, I don't have any sponsors. There's no VPN on this one. It's just me. So you can if you'd like to, you can head over to the Exile merch store. I just uploaded some dope new designs like this, and this dope new urban camo hoodie. Every order comes with a free sticker pack. There's like 10 stickers in there. And thanks for supporting me. Sweet dreams from Grafton City. I'll see you next time on the Kiwistyle podcast.